Alright, so this is my Slam Ignite Chieftain, and the premise of this character is basically is possible to use the new adjusted Chieftain explode node without going Righteous Fire. So I think this is actually pretty straightforward, and I'm kind of surprised nobody else is doing this. There's like me and one other guy in Mirage SSF who are slamming and igniting with the Chieftain. Alright, so this guy is an incredibly strong SSF starter. He uses no unique gear, he's very efficient from the beginning, and he has great clear. Especially Expedition is something he's very good at, and people who are familiar with Righteous Fire will know how good the prolif is. The reworked prolif with 10% chance is just even more reliable and very satisfying. Also, Breach is very easy because the Ignite prolif will linger on corpses, so incoming enemies will kill themselves. Alright, so the character is using Sunder, but I'm scaling the ignite damage both from the attack but also from the prolif, so whenever possible I'm scaling generic fire burning ignite damage. So offensively I actually use mazes because I get these area of effect nodes. These also affects the explosion and also the radius with which ignite proliferation will spread. And so you can see a path up here because I want these ignite chance nodes. It's actually difficult to get generic ignite chance outside the tree in SSF. You can get tattoos, but they're quite rare. There's like 10% here, and you can anoint another 10%, but outside of that there's not too many options. Alright, so he's great at clearing. His single target is alright for tier 16 bosses. It's super okay. I would say the new Sana bosses and also the Breach bosses were a little bit slow before I got a 6-link. Once I got a 6-link it was much better. But this is very similar. If you've played Righteous Fire, you'll have exactly the same setup with a very tanky character who clears, but struggles a little bit on late game single target. I don't expect to take this guy to Ubers, but I do expect him to be a very efficient farmer in tier 16 juiced maps. So White Chieftain is obviously the explosion is the main attraction here, and the prolif, but Chieftain has a very well-rounded package, and the reason I say I'm surprised nobody else is slam igniting with Chieftain is this node where he gets a free 7-link basically. Fist of War is like best in slot for slam ignite, and so it's just an extra link. Also I get this defensive package where I alleviate a lot of socket pressure with this resistance scaling through fire resistance. And that's actually not um, bad, because that means on my gear I can focus on life regen, which is suffixes. So this is pretty like basic gear from the breached tree, nothing special. But you can see I have life regen percent, life regen percent, and flat life regen percent. Um, and this would be more difficult if I had to spend those suffixes on cold and lightning resist. Also with the fire mastery I get a 1% 1 life regen for per uncapped fire resist, so I have 230, it could be a lot higher. So this makes it possible for me to scale life regen. I do it with Hardy and with Steadfast, and obviously the Marauder has some life regen here, and that makes it so I have around 1200 life regen just standing around, and this will increase to 2000 when I'm using Enduring Cry. And this is so much that I feel like I'm a Slayer with Overleech. I don't know the numbers on Slayer, but I mean, my potion is only for removing corrupted blood at this point. It's a very good feeling also for bosses if you're not if you don't have a target available for leech. As a Slayer you might have downtime, but this guy is regening always. Alright, so the max virus is something I want to talk about, because in SSF it's not like you can just buy whatever jewels you want and you're good. And also, when you're not Righteous Fire, you're not wearing a shield. That means you have to get your you can't just equip a Rise of the Phoenix or a Max Res shield and get to 90. So yeah, if you don't know, this works by you you get max fire res, and it will apply to cold and lightning as well. So last league though, with the reworked breach mechanic, there was breach rings were also reworked to be to have these max resist implicits instead. So the unstable breaches, the boss from those will drop these, and they are very easily obtained. I ran unstable breaches for like 2 hours and I got both of these rings. And then you basically have to craft on them. But this gives you 4 max res. Then there's like 4 max res on these 2, and another 3 max fire res like here. So that's 7 from the tree, and let me see, and the remaining 4 you get from duels. So the plus to maximum fire, cold, lightning resist roll on duels are extremely rare. I believe it's the least common roll out of the whole suffix pool, but you find a lot of duels, and eventually you'll find one with either cold, fire, or lightning. And using harvest reforge resistances, you will be able to reforge to fire, and it will also reroll the range. So the range is 1 to 2. That means you can just keep flipping the resist type until you get a max 2-5 resist. And that's it. I'm planning to swap out one of these rings for a amethyst ring, because the cannot roll modifiers of non-fire damage types actually means I also can't roll chaos resist on this ring, and it doesn't have a chaos resist implicit. So at the moment that's kind of my Achilles heel. I need more chaos resist, obviously. But that's easily fixed with a ring, and also I can craft with suffixes chaos resist. Alright, other than that, defensively I do basically have my region, my max res, a little bit of physical taking as. I can get that on the helmet as well, just haven't gotten around to it. And armor. So I'm at 23,000 armor with, I would say, like mediocre pieces. My chest was a pretty lucky craft from a tree. I don't expect to get much better than this in the foreseeable future. But you can get like 30,000 without going out of your way. But this is very comfortable as well. As you can see, I'm using blood magic, and I mean this is kind of just because it's easy. I could get more damage if I got like a few heralds. So that the two ways, if you want more auras, you can either just unspec this and get some reservation nodes, and maybe get some mana leech, and you're good. But actually, because you're already all the way up here, you have 2 points to Ultra's battery. And if you get like 200 energy shield, 150, 200, you can actually just go EB and it's fine. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about is, in a league start scenario, like how do you progress this character most efficiently? And I would say what I did, I'm pretty happy about. I just had one singular focus to begin with, and that's getting this medium cluster with burning damage. It's even a bad one. It's a 6 passive skill medium cluster, but it doesn't matter because you just want to rush that fan of flames notable as quickly as possible. And the thing is, fan of flames is what makes your explosions able to proliferate. You cannot do it with ignite proliferation on your skill because your explosions won't get that benefit. But with this, your explosions will change, and you'll get like sometimes multiple screens of clear ahead of you just because of pack density. And especially your expeditions. Usually the expeditions are you detonate with extreme archaeology, you put one Sunder down, and the entire thing dies within like half a second. This effect is also achievable on gloves, but I think I'm pretty convinced that it's much more reliable to quickly farm this one than farming the Eldritch currency to hit the ignite spread on gloves. Also, in a league quick start scenario, you want to be able to swap out your gloves frequently. So, like logging yourself with an implicit is kind of awkward. And how do you get this in SSF? Well, what I did, I just took this is my starter atlas tree. I ignored everything and just beelined to Delirium, Unending Nightmare, and you need this one as well, Imagine Pursuit. So once you get Imagine Pursuit, it's you just want to spam level 1 maps. And actually, the layout of the map you are spamming is quite important, because Unending Nightmare scales um, difficulty of mobs based on this. Well, this is a general Delirium thing, but it's even more so for Unending Nightmare. So if you get like a linear layout map, you end up far from the mirror. That means you it gets tough. But I used Castle Ruin because it's kind of a compact square type layout, so the mobs never got very tanky. Volcano was okay as well. Promenade was horrible because you end up far away, and I think Shrine as well. I can't remember. Anyway, you can test also like tier 2 maps. Yeah, and then once I had the medium cluster and also this one, the armor small cluster, so I can get an endurance charge generation. Once I had those two, um, a medium burning and a small armor, I simply just left this tree, and at that point I had 50 Atlas completions, so I got a new Atlas tree. And you can see here, it's pretty much Expedition first, then Breach, and then Harvest. If I knew Breach would still be as strong as it is, I would probably have spec'd Breach first and then Expedition, but it's like they're very equal. Expedition is just so satisfying with the explosion proliferation. Yeah, so that's it. In terms of scaling damage, there's a variant. If you can get enough accuracy, you can actually, and if you have an Uncle's Harmony, you can actually go Elemental Overload. Um, but you'd have to spec out a Resolute Technique and solve your accuracy. But that would be a way to squeeze out more damage. Also, I think like you could always upgrade your weapon and get more damage, but I think if I stay on this character much longer, I might try to farm a Grey Wind, which is a drop from the new Breach bosses. It's a pretty common drop, so I expect that wouldn't be too difficult. And a Grey Wind is an axe that gives you flat fire damage, sorry, based on your max health. So you become like a health scaler, sort of like Righteous Fire actually. So it's on theme. And I think that's it. There isn't much more that isn't self-explanatory. Um, you can use Fortify support and not go these if you want. Oh yeah, the support links I'm using is Cruelty, Elemental Damage, Ruthless, Edit Fire, and burning. Um, Before getting Fan of Flames, I used Ignite Prolif as one of my links. Um, Also, before I actually used this node, because explosions I didn't find them very useful, but it's kind of up to you. I had to spend 20 regret orbs to respec from that node to that node, so that was a bit awkward. But yeah, um, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the showcase. And I mean, I don't normally make videos on builds like this, but seeing that there's literally only one other guy doing a similar thing, I thought I would show it off, because it's extremely easy in an SSF scenario, and I mean bleed slams are super popular, and I believe, I mean, I'm pretty sure bleed slams are more single target, but nothing really competes with this multiple screens clear that the explosion. Oh yeah, and if you're wondering the reason I don't play RF, I mean, I like the play style. It's super comfortable, but my, I mean, my eyes just really don't like the visual effects, and yeah, that's just how it is. Uh, it's um, it's a bit dizzying for me, and also burns my retina a little bit. So yeah, I think this guy solved that issue, and I'm very happy with it.